Tokyo takeaways, 6 huge questions for Dodgers. Roki Sasaki shaky? Yamamoto be a Cy Young contender? Well, baseball fans, the 2025 MLB season has officially kicked off in spectacular fashion with the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Chicago Cubs battling it out in the Tokyo series. The Dodgers emerged victorious, taking both games, but as the dust settles on this international showdown, a whole host of questions are bubbling to the surface. You sent over this fantastic article that lays out the 6 biggest ones. So let's not waste any time and dive right into the heart of the matter. First up, what are reasonable expectations for Roki Sasaki's command as a rookie? This kid came to the Dodgers with a ton of hype, and his debut was, well, let's just say it was a mixed bag of electric stuff and wild pitches. His fastball was sizzling, his splitter was nasty, but his command? Woof. Only 25 of his 56 pitches were strikes. And he walked 5 batters in just 3 innings. That's the kind of walk rate that'll have your pitching coach reaching for the antacids. However, the article does offer a glimmer of hope. Apparently, Sasaki had pretty solid control in Japan, and we even saw Luis Gil win Rookie of the Year last season with a high walk rate. So, if Sasaki's stuff is just that good, maybe he can get away with being a bit, effectively wild. Like a young Dylan Cease or even his own teammate Blake Snell. More likely, though, as he gets more comfortable facing big league hitters, he'll start to find the strike zone more consistently. But how long will that take? That's the million-dollar question for the Dodgers. Next on the list, when will we see Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman? Now, this is a bit concerning for Dodgers fans. 2 of their best hitters. Both made the trip to Tokyo, but neither saw any game action. Betts apparently caught some bug that led to a significant weight loss, 15 pounds. That's like shedding an entire chihuahua. Freeman, on the other hand, was scratched with rib discomfort, the same injury he played through last postseason. The good news is that Dodgers manager Dave Roberts seems optimistic about Freeman being ready for opening day back in the States. Betts' situation is a bit more uncertain given the weight loss. These absences are a stark reminder that the Dodgers have an older roster. And while they can certainly still bang, older players are, statistically, more prone to injuries. The only real way this Dodgers season goes south is if they get absolutely hammered by the injury bug. So keeping these 2 healthy is paramount. Question number 3. Should the Dodgers play in Tokyo every year? Well, from a financial standpoint, the answer is a resounding yes. The article mentions that over 25 million people in Japan tuned in for Game 1, a record for an MLB game in the country. With Shohei Ohtani now a Dodger, they've become Japan's favorite team. And this annual trip is a goldmine for both the team and MLB. However, logistically, it might be a different story. Finding a new team willing to fly across the Pacific to potentially get swept every year could become tricky and expensive. And let's be honest, the novelty might wear off for the players after a while. But the financial incentives are so huge that it's hard to imagine this not becoming a more regular occurrence. Moving on to the Cubs. How will the Cubs lineup ultimately shake out? Their offense didn't exactly light up the scoreboard in Tokyo, managing just 4 runs in 2 games. Star Japanese slugger Seiya Suzuki went 0 for -8 with 4 strikeouts, which had to be a bit of a letdown for the home crowd. Top prospect Matt Shaw looked good defensively but struggled at the plate in his first big league action. Manager Craig Counsell is known for mixing and matching lineups. And with Nico Horner still recovering from surgery, it'll be interesting to see if he settles on a consistent batting order early in the season or continues to tinker. The performance in Tokyo certainly didn't provide many definitive answers. Now for a question on everyone's mind. Could Yoshinobu Yamamoto be a Cy Young contender? From a pure talent perspective, absolutely. His raw stuff is electric. Last year, even with a rough debut, he put up a solid 3.00 ERA. If you conveniently ignore that one bad start, his ERA drops to an even more impressive 2.53. Extrapolate that over a full season. And yeah, this guy has Cy Young potential written all over him. But there's a catch: innings pitched still matter. Even in today's game, Yamamoto didn't pitch deep into games last year, averaging only 5 innings per start. To be a serious Cy Young contender, he needs to increase his workload. likely surpassing the 150-inning mark. The Dodgers' priority, however, is keeping him healthy for the playoffs, so they might be hesitant to push him too hard. So, while the talent is there, the workload might be a limiting factor in his Cy Young aspirations this season. And finally, the question everyone is waiting for: when will Shohei Ohtani's rehab as a pitcher resume? Ohtani was an offensive force in Tokyo, racking up multiple hits and runs in Game 1 and hitting a homer in Game 2. But the big news is that his pitching rehab has been slowed down. He hasn't thrown off the mound since late February and hasn't faced any hitters yet. What's crackin', baseball buffs? We're coming to you live from, well, not Tokyo, but we're breaking down all the action from the Dodgers-Cubs season opener across the Pacific. The Dodgers snagged both games, but the real story lies in the 6 burning questions that emerged from this international showdown. Let's get right into it. First up, Roki Sasaki. This highly anticipated rookie made his debut, and while his fastball was electric and his splitter was dancing, his command was, well, let's just say he was walking more batters than a scout looking for talent. Only 25 of his 56 pitches were strikes. The good news? He's generally had solid control in Japan, and even wild pitchers can find success. So, reasonable expectations? Maybe a bit of a learning curve, but the stuff is definitely there. Where were Mookie and Freddie? That's the next big question. Both made the trip but didn't play. Betts was sidelined with an illness, losing a whopping 15 pounds. Freeman had rib discomfort. Luckily, Freeman should be good for opening day stateside, but Betts' status is a bit murkier. Hopefully, these absences aren't a sign of things to come for the Dodgers' aging stars. Should the Dodgers play in Tokyo every year? Financially, it's a huge win for MLB. The viewership numbers were insane, but logistically, it could get tiring for the teams. Maybe an occasional trip is the sweet spot. How will the Cubs lineup shake out? Their offense was a bit quiet in Tokyo, with Seiya Suzuki struggling. Rookie Matt Shaw looked good defensively but was overmatched at the plate. With Nico Horner returning from injury, it'll be interesting to see how manager Craig Counsell mixes things up. Could Yoshinobu Yamamoto be a Cy Young contender? From a pure talent perspective, absolutely. His numbers last year were impressive, especially if you take out his rough debut. But he needs to pitch deeper into games and rack up more innings to be a serious contender. The Dodgers' priority is keeping him healthy for October. Though, finally, when will we see Shohei Ohtani on the mound? He was crushing it at the plate in Tokyo, but his pitching rehab has been slowed down. He hasn't thrown off a mound since late February. He says it's all according to plan, prioritizing hitting right now. May was initially floated as a possibility for his return to pitching, but it might be a bit optimistic. We'll have to wait and see when this two-way phenom will be back on the bump. So there you have it, 6 big questions from the Dodgers-Cubs Tokyo series. What are your takeaways? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more baseball news and analysis. We'll see you at the ballpark.